Hello, everybody. My name is Lyubo, and I'm here today to talk about the newest firmware of Vicki that we're launching, Firmware 4.6. Before I go into any details, let me remind you that all of our MClimate devices support firmware upgrades over the air, meaning that you don't even have to visit the building in order to roll out this newest firmware and get advantage of the newest features that we're bringing. And without further ado, let's dive into the firmware. So 4.6 brings some very nice features. The first one I want to share with you is the scale 0 to 5. What it means that by default, when you mount Vicki on a radiator, you can see a scale between 5 and 30, and this is degrees Celsius. You can switch it to Fahrenheit if you're in the States, but now you can also use a scale from 0 to 5, kind of like a conventional thermostat. In the background, every part of the scale, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they have a corresponding target temperature that Vicki tries to match. But this is especially useful for, let's say, elderly homes or places where you don't really need the customer to see an exact temperature, but they would rather control it as a conventional thermostat based on a scale. Next, something that we have been anticipating is heating schedules. It means that Vicki can now run up to 20 internal schedules without even any LoRaWAN connection. So how the schedules work is that you select what is the day of the week. Let's say Monday at 10 o'clock, I want 30 degrees. And then you say, how often do you want this to repeat? So you can select Monday through Friday, but leave Saturday and Sunday out, and then make another schedule for Saturday and Sunday, etc. Up to 20 schedules you can define. It's important to mention that here the device also syncs the time, and you should actually select your time zone. Third big feature is the automatic setback temperature. This is quite nice, and I love it. It means that if you activate this and the customer goes and changes the target temperature manually through the device, this change is going to last for an X amount of minutes. And, by default, this feature is disabled, but it's really nice because it's essentially automatically going back to the temperature you desire in this building. And for people that are, let's say, hot or cold, their change, it can last, for example, just 1 hour, and then it goes back to the setback temperature. Apart from those three main features that we bring, there are a few more. So I mentioned about the heating schedules, that the time should be synced. So Vicki should know what is the time. This happens automatically with a Mac command over LoRaWAN. But if you wish, you can disable this and do the time syncing manually. If it doesn't work for one reason or another, we have tested on a few ONSs, but we also have a manual command for this. Second, the watchdog that monitors the communication and rejoins if required, we have upgraded it so that if it has to rejoin the network, then it first sends a confirmed uplink just to check if the gateway is there, if it's alive, and then if it doesn't get a response on the confirmed uplink, then it rejoins the network. But if it does get a response, it just continues operating, doesn't really rejoin. The third one is that something a few partners have been asking from us is that any manual target temperature change, meaning through the part of it that rotates, is now sent with a confirmed uplink. Then again, something that our community requested was when you adjust the target temperature on Vicki, now you can set what is the duration of the LED indication. So when you rotate, let's say from 20 to 22 degrees, you can say, okay, I want the LED screen to stay on for, let's say, 10 seconds so people can see what they have set. Then we're further doing optimizations on the calibration sequence. Here it's a small update where essentially during calibration, Vicki does 2 less movements, which in the long run obviously improve the battery life. But recalibration, it has been working very good for us for a long time. So we're not touching the core of the way we drive the motor. Right now, it's the most silent version of Vicki. It has been, I think, since 4.2, 4.3, not sure, but the core of the motor driver is not changed. It's just how we manage the calibration sequence. Another new feature, but not as major, is that you can now select a target temperature in case the device goes offline. So similar to the logic we have for the child lock. So let me remind you there, if we have a function which basically says if the device goes offline and child lock is on, then you can choose two things. Either the child lock stays on, or for the duration of the offline period, you disable the child lock. So here, same logic, but if the device goes offline, maybe the gateway goes down, now you can have a custom temperature in this case. Then last two things. It's first, we have optimized the minimum valve openness. And by that I mean there is a parameter called minimum valve openness, which by default in this firmware is 5%. And this is to ensure that basically hot water starts flowing almost immediately through the radiator. This is more for comfort, but it is a nice update because customers, they like it when they hear the water running. So we decided to go with a default at 5%. And let me tell you, if you have set anything else as default, not the default, but if you have set anything else on your device, we're not going to override this. So if you set 20, it's going to stay 20 after the update. And then last but not least, again, for convenience, for ease of use by end customers, now whatever changes you do manually through the device, motor starts moving and opening or closing the valve with a delay of 5 seconds, so that you know customers, they have time to actually adjust with the target temperature they want. This is everything about firmware 4.6. Well, almost everything. If you wanna learn all the changes that we've done, you can visit our documentation website and take a look at the release notes to get the full picture. If you want to start updating your devices, we also have an article in the documentation about how 𝗬𝗀 works, how to set it up. I remind everybody that 𝗬𝗀 is completely free. And yeah, looking forward to you starting to update your devices for the upcoming heating season. Let us know if you have any questions, and yeah, happy to continue supporting you.